Was he great? In a word, yes. We are pleased to welcome former WWE champion and current SmackDown Live General Manager Daniel Bryan to SportsCenter. Daniel, just over 6 months ago, you spoke to us right here on Off the Top Rope about your decision to retire because of concussions. How have these last 6 months been for you, sir?
At first it was really tough. This is what I love. I love wrestling. I love WWE. I love all of it. The nice thing is, if you were interested in somebody going through heartache, you get to see all of it because it was filmed for Total Bellas, which I think starts October 5th. And they got to film all my depression and about leaving wrestling and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm doing great, man. I love being around WWE. I get to see my friends. I get to be around the action. I get to be around what I love.
What has been the biggest adjustment for you in these last 6 months?
I think the hard part is, like, what do you focus your energy on, right? Like, I've been doing this since I was 18 years old. Literally, the night I graduated high school, I left Aberdeen, Washington, and went down to train with Shawn Michaels. So I don't know anything else really in my adult life. So it's been just that problem of finding what do you focus your attention on. And, okay, I say that, and it's like that's a really great problem to have, right? Like, oh, I don't have to worry about all this other stuff, right? Like, what am I going to focus my energy on? So that's kind of been the hardest problem.
But so many things that you are good at, but at the core of what your career is and everybody around you is the physical aspect of being in the ring. How challenging has that been, being back around everybody, but not actually in the ring?
So that part has been really tough. So, like, as general manager, I've had to go out and, like, watch matches by the ring. And when I go out there, the whole arena is, like, going, yes, yes, yes. And then I just sit in a chair and I just watch the match. And the whole time I'm like, and then I go home to Brie and I'm like, I'm going to quit. I'm going to go, I'm going to go wrestle somewhere. And then she talks me down off the ledge and I'm just like, oh. Okay, I've got to think about her, and we're trying to have a family and that sort of thing. So, I mean, that part of it is tough.
So let's circle back for a second, because you've mentioned on several occasions, certainly with me, we've known each other for a long time, how much you love being in the ring, and Miz touched on that nerve. Would you say, and I don't know how you're feeling, so you tell me, that there would ever be a chance that we would see Daniel Bryan have another match?
Okay, so if you were to ask me 9 days out of 10, I would say, absolutely. Like, I keep trying to convince people that I'm okay to wrestle, and I think that's probably the hard part. Is a lot of times I'm trying to convince myself, too, that I can wrestle. But, it's really hard because the concussion issue is very subjective, and that's the part that a lot of people don't understand. I was cleared by a lot of concussion specialists. There was one test that kind of flagged me. But then the more I learned about that test, the more I learned that, like, hey, maybe that shouldn't have stopped me. And so, and there's a lot more to this issue than probably we have time to get into. I mean, if you want to sit me down and do a big concussion talk and we can get some concussion specialists in here, we can talk about it all. I mean, that would be awesome. But there's a lot more than meets the eye kind of to this situation. So, yeah, I feel great, and I feel like every day that I can wrestle. I'm doing jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and stuff like that. So, I feel 100%.
You just gave me another idea, and we've got this new website that I'm sure you're aware of that we can get into all that, and we will. But to wrap this particular interview up with, you started by saying that we're going to see in Total Divas, Total Bellas coming up, what your last 6 months was like. How difficult was it going through what you were going through, that personal issue, personal struggle, but yet having a camera right there every single second of the day?
Oh, just brutal. And they've been talking to me about, like, okay, you've got to go do Total Bellas Media coming up. I think we're going to do it at the end of the month. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't want to have to relive this, right? And I guess that's the hard part, because for me, part of how I decompress and part of how I've always dealt with things is through wrestling, right? So then when that gets taken away and that's the thing that's causing the issue, then all of a sudden to thrust me in somebody else's house, we're going to live with John Cena and Nikki Bella, right? Me and my wife, and we're there for 4 weeks, and then there's cameras following you all the time, and then Brie was still on the road, so I was barely able to see her, and I just had nowhere to just kind of go to feel that kind of solace. And in the past, when I haven't had wrestling, I've always gone to nature, but we're in Florida, and it's kind of like swampy, and we're in like this very luxurious house. So, I mean, that was probably really difficult, and compounded onto the emotions I was already feeling.
Well, sir, I can tell you that sincerely, you are good for the business. You're good for the conversation. And once again, we now know you just a little bit better. Daniel Bryan, thanks for joining us here on Off the Top Rope.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.